We have here today Free the Revolution, which we are going to get started right away. Adriano, artist and revolutionary. I don't know if you'd agree with that or not. Why don't we find out? All right, Adriano?
I can hear you all right. Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. You're looking swell as usual.
Likewise, I'm just a reflection of you.
Ah, you smooth talker, you. Anyway, so what was your day like today? What did you get up to?
Creating.
Yes? What can you share with us?
Writing music, sitting beside this beautiful instrument, and
Yes.
letting things come out.
Anything you could share with us?
Nothing I can share with at the moment because I don't want to share anything that isn't ready.
Okay. Are you ready to share with us something that is ready?
Absolutely.
Okay. Can we get this? Let's get this show rolling with a wonderful introduction. Because you know what? If a picture says 1,000 words, a voice says 2,000 words. So sing to us, my friend. Hi, everybody. Welcome. This is
Spread your eyes as you wind upon the floor. Look in your eyes as you beg me for more. Motions I swear as our bodies explore. Lock down your lips, then you walk out the door. The moment you leave, I ask where you go. I realize that you're in control. I know that I'm losing it. What can I say? Not used to it. All I need now is your movement. Let me get in there, we grooving it. Cause I got the plug and we doing it. Cause I got the plug and we doing it. Sentimiento, corazón, ya no siento tu calor. Sentimiento, corazón, ya no siento tu sabor. Ahora quiero verte más y en la noche sudar, sé lo rico con matar y ponernos a pelear. Baby, vamos conectar con perreo. Baby, vamos conectar con perreo. Ahora quiero verte más y en la noche sudar, hacer lo rico con matar y ponernos a pelear. Baby, vamos conectar con perreo. Baby, vamos conectar con perreo. She wants more. Entonces dale, 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 dale más. She wants more. Entonces dale, 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 dale más. So I'll give her, give her, give her, give her more. Porque ella quiere, 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 quiere más. So I'll give her, give her, give her, give her more. Porque ella quiere, quiere más.
Bravo, bravo, bravo. Oh, thank you, Adriano. You know that, wow. You were singing just to me. Thank you.
Thank you.
And everybody else. So that brings us up to speed with your singing. But if I asked you, where are you and what are you doing now, aside from the creating that you were doing today? Generally speaking, in your career, where are you? Where do you feel you are anyway?
I'm on what they call the come up, emerging. In a place now where I've been able to focus on incubating and creating myself as an artist that represents my art, my energy, my focus, my sound, my visuals. And I think that that's a big part of the journey of not just being an artist, but being a person, is being able to identify who and what you are and what your purpose is and how you want to represent yourself when you're coming in contact with other people. Especially when it comes to your art, because art is supposed to be shared and it's supposed to do something. It's supposed to create a feeling of connection between different people that come in contact with your vibrations, whether it's visual, whether it's auditory. That's the point of it. For me, it was all about being able to understand myself, being able to understand what I stand for, what my energy is. And once you know that, then the next move is sharing that with the world and emerging and now being discovered by new people, and as I also discover new people to connect with, new fans, new friends, new colleagues. So it's really exciting.
Share with the audience where the revolutionary part comes, the free the revolution. So how does that work? Because I have a theory that I'll share after you, but not from about you, about my theory of evolutionary revolution. And what is where does free the revolution come from? What is that for you specifically?
Well, at first it was a mantra of mine. It was a saying. I used to do a lot of open mics before I started gigging professionally and singing my own music.
Right.
And one day I was just on stage, and I don't know where it came from, but I just said, "Free the revolution," and the crowd screamed it back or yelled it back at me. And before you know it, everywhere I went, I'd walk into a room, I'd walk into a bar, and people would just yell, "Free the revolution," and they'd put their arms up. Or I'd go to a gig, and a local band was playing, and I'd walk in, and they just scream, "Free the revolution." And a musician friend of mine told me.
So when they say that, when you hear that, in reference to you, what does that mean to you, though? What does that mean to you? Now, it could mean a whole bunch of things to everybody else, but what does it mean to you when somebody says that? I mean, it's sort of akin to when somebody says to me, "Style icon, J.P. Michaels," but what does that really mean? You know, it only means as much as you want it to mean. So what does it mean to you, free the revolution?
For me, it came down to, because that was definitely something I asked myself a lot. You know, and people would ask me too, you know, sometimes you have a skeptical, like, "Well, what does that mean?" Like, you know, or like, "Hey, what does that mean?" I don't know why it moves me, you know, and
exactly.
For me, what I thought is, whether it's something that's in your mind, something that's in your heart, whether it's a life goal you have, or maybe you're stuck somewhere that you don't want to be stuck in life, whether it's a job that you need to leave or a job that you need to pursue, whether it's someone that you need to tell that you love, that you haven't, or someone that you need to call.
Okay. Is it sort of a battle cry to yourself to get ready for the revolution, and whatever that is could be revolutionary in your own life if you're taking a step. Yeah. I have a theory in general, a more generalized theory of the revolution, and that is, I call it the revolution of listening, learning, loving, and respecting. And that art is going to, in all of its forms, in all of its conceivable forms, will be the language that will appeal to the hearts of mankind, personkind, if you will. And that's what the revolution is going to rely on, that kind of communication through the arts to the masses, because I really do believe art is the answer to listening, learning, loving, and respecting. And again, by people like yourself changing the narrative, you know, putting a handsome and talented young man who's emerging, and this is how you change. This is how you change the narrative, you know, because you can always find something that is not going to serve the narrative in terms of a positive light, and that it doesn't matter who you are and what you're doing and where you're from. But if you own your shit, you know, nobody can claim your own shit if you own it. You know what I'm saying? Pardon my French, excusez-moi. But so in all of that fortitude and that revolution and that battle cry, you know, what's the hardest moment in your life? What was the hardest, what do you think was the hardest moment in your life?
That's a very hard question, unintended. I think the more you experience this thing called life, the more you understand that it ebbs and it flows, and that we live in an ocean, that everything's a wave and things come and go. You know, the good moments, whatever that means to you, the bad moments, the hard moments, adversity, you know.
So what advice would you give to somebody who can't swim?
Learn how to swim.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, learn how to swim.
Learn how to swim. Because every single moment is going to be pushing you to drown, and it's going to be what they say. And you know what I consistently see from those that are a little bit more ahead of me or farther ahead or people behind me is that the people that are able to make an impact with their art are the ones that stick through it, tenacity. You know, the ones that don't give up. The ones that don't give up, the ones that continue to believe in themselves when everybody tells them they're out of their mind, or that what they're doing just doesn't make sense, or that you're taking too big of a risk, or that you're just being weird, or they tell you to grow up. You know, all of those things, those are the adversities. And the only way for you to find out how far you can go is to never give up. And that's easier said than done, because there's going to be a million things and a million reasons for you to quit while you're ahead. There's going to be a million reasons and a million people that are going to tell you that you should stop what you're doing.
And that's only on a Monday. And that's just on a Monday, you know.
And that's just on a Monday.
That's just on a Monday. You know, what do you suppose that is, Adriano? Why do you suppose? I mean, there is good counsel in terms of, you know, working smart about your craft and you know, putting yourself out there. But what do you think it is about the people who haven't invested in themselves, really invested in themselves? And I think more people have as a result of the COVID, you know, lockdowns, because, you know, there's only so much lint you can pull out of your navel, you know. So you got to get your life in gear here. So what was the catalyst or that is pushing you in your career to get your life in gear from a career point of view?
Honestly, for me, it was I knew that I wanted to pursue something as an entrepreneur. I knew that I wanted to work for myself, and I wanted to have the freedom of choice, or freedom of lifestyle, even if that meant I had to work twice as hard. And when I realized,
it usually does.
The moment I realized that music was and being an artist was my vehicle, it really wasn't a hard decision for me. I knew immediately that I had to pursue music professionally, and that meant that I had to utilize all of the skills that I've learned beforehand from previous careers so that I can be successful in it. And for me, success is not about being famous and rich. Success is being able to wake up every day and have the opportunity to make art, to share the art, to perform my art, to create the art. It's so important. And the only way to do that is you have to pursue, like an Olympic athlete, you really have to live it to the fullest. You have to rehearse, you have to practice, you have to be productive. And I think you and I have this conversation. A good friend of mine told me once, there is no such thing as a passive artist. There is no such thing.
I know.
People call themselves artists. And then you ask them, when was the last time you wrote, created, painted? And they're like, well, it's been a few years, but you know, I'm an artist. I'm like, there's no such thing as a passive artist. To be an artist, you have to be an artist every single day and be a productive artist. You know? My
response to that question is, what time is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
When was the last time you created? What time is it, please? I can guarantee you it was in the last 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're creating right now.
Precisely. And isn't that my point? That, you know, when it comes to styling, I always keep saying to my clients and the people I meet and people who ask me about where I learned styling, blah, 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 and that is, styling is all about reaching inwardly to express outwardly. And when you think about it, that's what music is. It's all about reaching inwardly to express outwardly, only you have an idea that it's your voice and the lyrics that are going to create the message as much as my styling will. And as much as, and you know, I often say to people who are in the business, so to speak, you know, it's a very fast-paced business. Even though you seem to be waiting around a long time, you know, but once things start moving, it really starts to move, and you've got to start the conversation before you even open your mouth when you walk into a room. And what you're wearing has to speak volumes about who you are as an artist, as a person who has passions about other causes, which I'd like to talk to you about as well. And that is, when you speak of a revolution, do you have an image of that? What that revolution looks like to you in your Free the Revolution world?
Absolutely.
What does it look like to us, to you? What does it look like?
For me, it's the moment that something unlocks in your mind, the moment that you have a eureka moment for yourself, the moment where your eyes are closed and you feel like something finally opens up and brightens. And it's a moment where you have the power of decision, the power of choice, the power of action, the power of movement.
Yes.
For me, that's what it is. It starts in the mind. For me, revolution starts in your mind.
It's that when the brain knows what the heart feels. You know, it's that whole interconnectedness. And that's my whole philosophy about moving forward, and decisions to move forward must be a two-part decision. And that is, when your brain knows what your heart feels, then you know that that's the moment for action. And until that happens, you're never going to move forward with full consent of who you are as an artist, as a person, as a thinking, feeling human being, so to speak. So who, it takes, the adage is it takes a village. It takes a village to raise a child. It takes a village to create an artist, because artists, there are very few artists that I know, as you said, who don't want to share their art. Otherwise, they're wannabe artists. So who helped you? Who's one person, you don't have to name them, but what was the relationship of one person to you that really you felt got your message as soon as you shared this is what you wanted to do?
There are so many people that have helped me along the road.
Yes.
There's so many people that have connected with me. And I can say a mutual friend of ours, Just John, who's out in LA right now, just, continuing to move forward with the dream. He's the one that, for those that don't know, connected JP and myself, and JP is a stylist. Just John's an incredible musician. And when we met and I told him, free the revolution, he just grabbed my hand and looked at me and said, yes, and repeated back to me, free the revolution. And he just got it instantly. And we're very fortunate that we were able to connect and hang out and chill and talk and share ideas and share conversations. And he really, having those conversations, what I say is conversation is currency, and time is the most valuable thing we have in life. And by being able to share his currency with myself and sharing his story, sharing where he's been, and, having those moments where you don't know if you're going to be able to make it the next day was essential for me as an artist, because being able to relate and empathize with other artists, it really helps you understand that you're not on the wrong path, and
I always say to people, be careful. The only reason the grass is greener on the other side sometimes is because somebody's taken the time to water it.
That's right.
And so my response to a lot of people is get watering your grass, because you don't need to go anywhere. You just need to water your grass, so to speak. So was there anyone you felt was a naysayer in your dream, or someone who, how did you deal with the people that were skeptical about what you wanted to do?
Especially a lot of people that are close to you, whether they say it or not. They can say it with their eyes, they can say it with their silence, but a lot of people tell you with their words that, they just feel really worried about you. They're really worried that you're messing up your life. They're worried that you're not taking care of yourself. They're worried that what you're doing is just so hard and it doesn't even make sense. And it's weird because a lot of times you also have people that say, I really believe in you. I see that what you're doing makes sense, because when I see you doing what you do as an artist, you're undeniable. You absolutely have the talent and the drive and the work ethic, but I think what you're doing is not the best thing you should be doing in your life. And it's really, it's really paradoxical, because they see that you literally have all of the talent and all of the potential and all of the abilities to pursue what you're pursuing, but there's just such a huge fear, because everybody fears the unknown. It's so much easier to follow the path.
Yeah.
Paved for you,
but do you think, Adriano, part of that fear is there are really an awful lot of very, very successful, thank you very much, full-time musicians making an extremely good living, if that's your definition of success. And people don't know their names, and yes. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So I sometimes think the fear that people are expressing is that you are not going to measure up to their expectations of what your career will be. And my question is, well, what makes you the instructor for my level of what kind of career you decide? Who's going to decide, other than myself, what kind of career you want? I had the exact kind of career as an opera singer I wanted. I did not want to have to travel the whole world through just so I could get up on stage and, in the outskirts of some German town. So I have to, in a regional opera house. I wanted more than that. I designed my career like you will design your career the way I would design and style an outfit, and that is with intent. With intent, period. You know, my intent though, not what you think I should do. And that's the beauty of a creative. Nobody gets to tell you how to create because you've got yourself enough. And that's why when somebody says, when was the last time you created? And they can't think, you know, and that's my question. Well, what time is it? And I'll tell you.
It's ongoing.
So what keeps you going then, Adriano, when you have the people that you care about? Like, listen, I have family members too, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, my parents even at one time, you know, and it's really hard to listen to so many people and yourself at the same time. So, so what keeps you going? What is that little voice inside your incredible creative mind? What are they saying to you? What's that voice saying to you?
The thing about it is that it's not something that I think about sometimes. It's a constant. The first thing I think of when I wake up, and the last thing I think of when I go to sleep. It's an ever-present feeling that I've never been more certain of. That's the thing about it all. And it's the certainty of who I am. And that's the thing about it. It's that I've never been more certain of who I am. And whether people agree with that or not, whether certain scenarios in my life agree with it or not, I can never deny who I am. It's just, this is who I am. So it's not even like it's like denying what my age is, or denying what my culture is, or denying that the sky is blue. There's no point in me. There's just nothing that can deny it. And that for me to pursue something else or try to do something else is literally going against the grain. And that's what so many people, they feel every morning like they're committing spiritual or energy or self-suicide in their mind when they're not being themselves. So whether life throws certain things at you, when you know that you're pursuing yourself, your purpose, your energy, the truth, who you are, no matter how tough things are around you, you feel freedom. You know, you feel some certain level of freedom, regardless of how crazy everything else is.
Do you think people envy you for that?
I think people may feel envy, but it's them projecting on themselves.
Exactly.
Because they feel envy that they're not able to have the courage, or, you know, they may feel they don't have the opportunity to, but it's more than anything is to take a deep breath and to jump.
Or, I keep saying, that this is an investment. Every reinvention is a reinvestment in myself. And the goal of any reinvention is to create a strong and mindful opinion of yourself so that you don't accidentally believe what others are saying about you. And so in the process of creating that very strong and mindful opinion, you have to hold on to that, because that's sometimes the only thing you've got to hold on to when the people that you care about are maybe showing you a caring that maybe is not the kind of caring you need, because you need to be encouraged. I'm not just speaking of you. I'm speaking of any artist. I'm of two minds, because I now have the advantage of 20/20 hindsight. I've finished with my music career, and I have that hindsight, and I'm in the midst of another career, and so it's just an extension of self. It's just an extension of yourself. So I'm going to change the mood here a little bit, and we're going to come back to some other things. But you told me you were a Capricorn, and so I have this book, and I'm going to read from it a description of Capricorn, and you tell me if you agree, yes or no, that it describes you. Now, I bought this book because it was very uncanny the way it described my zodiac sign, Scorpio. So, and do you mind if I light up?
Absolutely not.
Capricorn, December 22nd to January 20th. You know what you want, yes or no?
Yes.
And how to get it.
Yeah.
You are totally focused on your purpose.
Yeah.
And either awe others with your conscientiousness and commitment, or leave them questioning your obsessive behavior.
It's really, really trippy.
You know, like it's one or the other, eh?
I don't believe in. Yeah. It's crazy. It's really weird.
So far so good, eh?
So far, pretty good. Yeah.
Being naturally sure-footed. Are you sure-footed? Do you have a sense of where you're going from one step to the other? Gives you the courage to tread on uneven ground. I would say so.
Yeah.
And where others fall by the wayside, you shine in your determination to succeed. There you go. Okay, so it says, lighten up. Your ruler Saturn has given you a maturity that is far in advance of your years. Do you feel that you're an old soul?
I've been told that since I was a kid. But I mean, I don't want to be cliche because I'm sure, because you hear a lot of people say that or a lot of people feel that way. But yeah, definitely, I just always felt like I got it, even as a kid. Like I never believed Santa was real. I never needed anybody to teach me about sex. I just always kind of just knew these things. Like I never felt like, even when I was a child, I never felt like I was naive or like I didn't understand adult situations or things that just like I felt like I always just knew what time it was.
I like that expression. I just felt I always knew what time it was.
Mm-hmm.
Many Capricorns find it difficult to relax in social situations. Do you find it difficult to relax in social situations?
It is definitely a paradoxical thing for me because it goes between feeling incredibly comfortable in those situations, but also feeling alone in those situations.
For me, I'm an empath. And sometimes I take on the energy of the people that are around me to the point where I can almost see their lives flashing in front of me as far as the energies that they're presenting to me. So that sometimes freaks me out a little bit. And it can happen, and sometimes it's a good thing, It certainly means I don't drink quite as much because I'm already high. Okay, fearlessness and ambition make good bedfellows, and you have both in abundance. So do you feel that you have ambition and fearlessness?
Definitely. I definitely would say that describes me very well.
So I'm going to go back now.
I feel can get you in trouble sometimes. Not being able to fear things and the ambitiousness. Like even if just like any other normal person can feel levels of anxiety or anxiousness, I never lose sleep on it. And I never lose sleep on the dangerous decisions I may make. I've always just been that way.
So what advice would you give to your 13-year-old self about all this?
Keep going.
And what does that mean? What does that look like? Keep going.
Keep being true to yourself. Just stay focused and keep going. Don't stop. And just keep following your stomach. Keep following your gut instinct. That's where the power is. Whatever your gut tells you, that's where the real power is. So
when you were taking this leap into faith for yourself, by yourself, because of yourself, what was your no turning back moment in terms of really just sinking into this idea that you are a creative and you are going to take part in that creative world out there? That this is where you belong. When was there a moment that you can recall?
The very same second that I realized I was an artist, and it happened for me, was just doing another open mic, and the owner offered me a gig, and I realized that I could actually make a living out of it. So from an entrepreneur business point of view, I thought, okay, you can actually, take care of yourself and be able to pay for your bills on one end. And the other, I also realized that there was an infinite growth And so that was one side of it. But the moment I just knew this is what you are, this is what your purpose was, there was no, it was 100% clear to me. It was crystal clear. I knew immediately.
Would it be unfair to ask you to play something else?
No, it wouldn't be unfair at all.
Okay, it's your choice. Tell us about the song that you're going to play. What can you tell us about it? And I love when you sing in Spanish. I love that mixture and dovetailing in and out of the languages.
Yeah, I really enjoy singing in both. For those that don't know, my mother's Ecuadorian, my father's Jamaican. So being born and raised in Toronto, I was able to learn both languages at the same time. Technically, I learned Spanish first at home. My mother only spoke to me in Spanish, which I'm very grateful to her for.
Absolutely.
Now, especially musically, it allows me to sing in Spanish. For those that don't know, the Latin languages are called bel canto, that come from Italian or Latin. So French, Spanish, Italian, Portuguese.
The romantic languages.
They're all romantic languages.
They're all romantic.
They say that because they have the most romantic sound.
I know.
Languages over any other language. So, and that's not my subjective belief. This is just what seems to be the objective standard amongst literates.
Well, we all agree the romantic languages have a lot going for them. So tell us what song you're going to sing.
I'm going to sing a song called "Live Your Life," which is one of my first songs that I can't wait to release this upcoming summer. 2022. It's a funk song, but I like to also sing it in a very chill way. So, baby, I wanna take you out tonight. Jump in my Cadillac, I'll take you around the town tonight. Don't you know what you mean to me? I'm your disco lover, sweet thing, so let's make history. Celebrating tonight. Celebrating every night. Celebrating tonight. Every night. Live your life. Lady, love is in the air tonight. Jump on the dance floor, I'll spin you round and round tonight. Now you know what you mean to me. I'm your disco lover, sweet thing. Now we making history. Celebrating tonight. Celebrating every night. Celebrating tonight. Every night. Live your life.
Bravo, bello.
Thank you.
So when you create a wonderful song like that, what's different about the way you see the world now as a creative versus before, when you were not as engaged in the creative passions that you are now? How has that changed your focus or changed your vision of the world?
It's very empowering to be able to create something that you can share that affects the way people feel. I realize that as an artist, as a musician, that music is the most powerful medium. It's a medicine for the soul. It's a medicine feelings. It's medicine for your mind.
Oh yeah.
Because the very best musicians make people feel good. And there's just so many things going on in the world, the media, a lot of things are constantly telling you to feel bad, to feel negative, to feel off. And with music, you're able to change the way people feel. And I've seen it time and time again. And people have shared that with me where they're just having a horrible day. And they just hear the music and they stop, or they walk in because their friends drive them to a show, and then they walk in, and the next, you know, they're dancing and they're moving. They haven't even had a drink or anything, and they just feel like there's something so powerful happening in that moment. It's like a cathartic feeling, being able to release all that negativity, all of that anguish and despair in their hearts. And then when it's done, they just feel this huge relief, you know, and being able to sleep. Music is just so powerful. For me, I feel empowered that I can actually make people feel that and create sounds that make people feel that, you know.
Does that ever scare you, that kind of power you have?
I can see why, because you affect how people feel. And that's why, for me, my style of music is music that makes people feel good. People always ask me what kind of music you make, and I say feel good, whether it's, you know, old soul, R&B, Motown style to reggaeton or funk. For me, it's about making people feel good, like making you move, making you think, making you just feel good, versus putting my energy into music that makes people feel despair or angry. And I mean, I understand that art has so many different mediums and forms and styles and sounds, but, you know, as an artist myself, I love making people feel good. I don't want to create music that helps people stay in a place where they consistently feel unhappy or angry. And I have nothing but respect for artists that do that and can do that, because there's a time and a place for everything. But I think that the most powerful and the very best musicians are the ones that can connect with the youngest to the oldest and make them all feel good and celebrate life, which is what this song was about. And that's what's called Live Your Life, you know, celebrating tonight, you know.
So what's carrying you into your future? What's your vision for your future? This is your time to be unapologetically and you know, shamelessly promoting, self-promoting. What would you like Free the Revolution, Adriano, to be taking hold of in 2022?
It's 22, what's the vision? It's 22, what's the vision? I'm chilling with JP, the legend, style icon. It's 22, what's the vision? It's 22, what's the vision? Shout out to K Swavy, who's my stylist. Woo! He's so hard and cool because we need to stick to our values. We need to stick to our focus. We need to let the people know we're never gonna give up. It's 22, what's the focus? It's 22, what's the vision? I'm telling you, I'm never gonna stop. I'm always gonna keep creating. It's 22, what's the vision? It's 22, what's the vision? I'm never gonna stop. I'm never gonna stop. I'm never gonna stop creating, 'cause I am free the revolution. Free the revolution. And I can't wait to share my new sound with you tonight.
Wow. Bello, grazie. Wow. That's, ladies and gentlemen, Free the Revolution. Thank you so much for this time. It's gone so quickly. And I every time I meet up with you and we exchange, I always feel that there's a communication that is, we get it. You know, I get you. I get you. I make no bones about it, and you know, I've been recorded as having said it, that I think one of my involvement in the work and the the aspirations of young artists and just young people really is what has solidified my sense of what I did in the past to give back now in the present, you know, and that I'm very aware of that. And when I say you get it, I don't, there's lots of things that I don't need to say to you, and I've always felt that, and you know, other artists that I have met through you, the same kind of, that kind of, not, it's more than commitment, it's just, it is what it is. It is what it is, you know, and it's taken me, and I have had the good fortune of being able to say that many times under many different, wearing many different reinventions, and I can see that for you. I mean, you know, music is the one, is going to open up so many other things to you, and I know that because of who you are and the way you accept things in terms of being able to make music about it, you know, and, you know, that's how you, that's your therapy. You know, my therapy is writing and talking to people and making people feel good by what I'm wearing, and that's all therapy for me, you know. And you know, we all need therapy, and I'm grateful that my therapy requires people to appreciate it, you know. And anyway, and likewise, I think that's at the core as well, as our hearts need to hear not just our own beats, but also that flutter of audience appreciation, you know. So I do appreciate you, my dear. You are such a blessing in my life. And we can thank Just John for bringing us together. Just John, wherever you are in LA, I hope you're listening. Good big shout out from your buddies back here in Toronto. Joe Bello, I'm going to be. I've recorded this. Hopefully, Deal, please. I want to save this, ladies and gentlemen. This is JP Michael saying, "This is where the faithfully fashionable come to learn that without faith in yourself, you don't have a chance to heaven, and without style, you don't have a chance in hell."
Free the revolution.
Love you. Free the revolution.
Love you, brother. Respect.